So you may have heard of this game, and if you haven't, well, okay. But if you've kept up with this game in any capacity, then you know that what I'm about to talk about today was probably inevitable and has been for quite a while. So this is an interesting game and an interesting case because Bandai actually put more money into this game because this game initially launched over 2 years ago. And what they wound up doing was insane. The game was not received the way that they wanted it to be, and it had a lot of issues. So they wind up taking it down and trying to do the One Piece Bounty Rush thing. So if you don't know about One Piece Bounty Rush, they took that game down so fast, like within a few weeks, I believe, and reworked the way that game looked. Quite literally, it doesn't look it looks like the way it looked now, or looks now versus the way it looked initially. The old version looks like a knockoff version. Like they reworked it. It was down for like a year, 8 months to a year, something like that in maintenance. They tried to do that again with this game. This game actually goes into maintenance for 15 months. Okay. This game goes into maintenance for about 15 months. And what they do is they rework it. It doesn't have a drastic overhaul visually, but they add new stuff to it and try to really capitalize on the things that were shortcomings in the initial version of the game. Unfortunately, though, they didn't handle all the other stuff on the perimeter, right? Like all the marketing for this game was basically non-existent. A whole bunch of other things that, you know, I could really get into, but I'll just link you guys to this video from Gamer Turk where he talks about why did it fail twice in 1 year, which is ridiculous. And so now we're at a point where this game is going to shut down, right? So it was announced today that it is shutting down. And so firstly, this is quite literally a surprise to no one. So you may remember I did videos on the initial version of this game, right? You can go back to my channel a couple of years ago. I did videos on the initial version of the game. I was really upset that it went down, but here's the thing. I did videos on the initial version, played it for like 4 months, and was like, yeah, this game is just kind of not. It was also really repetitive, like, and that's normal for gacha games, right? But I had a lot of issues with it, kind of just dropped it, and wasn't surprised that it went into the big maintenance in the first place. And so I came back, started playing it. It was cool that they allowed you to retain all of your stuff from the initial version after a year and a half. And so I was really excited about that at that time. However, I didn't play it for very long because I was like, this is like not even that different of a game. There's some new stuff in here. There's big economy issues and all that stuff. And there was just a lot, right? So I didn't wind up sticking with it, but I did keep an eye on the community. And one thing I'll say is that while there is obviously, for any game, there are fans of the game. But this game itself has to be the most DOA game I've ever seen. Not ever, that's hyperbolic, but that I've seen in a while, right? Because this game is just not talked about. If we pull up the sales numbers, they're abysmal. The social presence is abysmal. Like it just, there's nothing really here, which is unfortunate. But the good news is, I buried the lead. So the good news is, despite the fact that it's closing, they actually have a huge W here. They are making an offline edition for this game. Props. Like seriously, I am dead serious. Props. I can't stand how many of these gacha games come out and then they're just gone. They're just, they basically become lost media. They are gone. There is no way to access them unless, like, you know, obviously dedicated fans can make a private server, they can play, but that's obviously, most people aren't going to seek that out. Most people don't even know those things exist, right? So they basically become lost media. And so in this case, we have a situation like Mega Man X Dive where, and I gave them props for it too, where the game is going to get shut down, but there will be an offline version. Now, it remains to be seen how that's handled. We're going to read this post while they talk about it. But yeah, this is a situation where, again, the game was down for a year and a half, right? They did something similar with One Piece Bounty Rush. They tried to turn around and do it again. It didn't work out, right? And ultimately, that's unfortunate. They put more money into it to get that done. Like, the game was just in limbo for a year and a half. They put more money into it. So that's actually interesting, too, because Bandai is interesting when it comes to these mobile games in the first place, because a lot of times they have the reputation of just pulling the plug quickly, right? But they've got other games on their list that have outlived what I think that their numbers show. Like, for example, I have nothing against this game, but I am honestly surprised that Slime Isekai Memories is still up. Like, I frankly am. And they're still doing collaborations and stuff like that. We've seen a bunch of Gundam games come and go, and I'm actually really happy about SD Gundam. But Bandai pulled the plug quickly here, right? And that's unfortunate because if you were a fan of Unleashed Blading, That game basically got shut down because they didn't want to have too many mobile games that are solo leveling on the market. And if you're a fan of Memory Defrag, that really got shut down for that reason, right? For Unleashed Blading and for this. This almost is like a 3D Memory Defrag, kind of. And then another thing, Integral Factor is like 6 years old, right? Like something like 6 years old. That game is outliving another solo leveling Sword Art Online game. That's crazy, man. That's ridiculous. Like, I don't even have a problem with IF. It's just interesting, the longevity and community for that game versus what happens to the other games and what happened here, right? I just don't think they were ever able to capture players after that, you know, long maintenance that they had. So let's talk about this. We are very sad to announce that the end of service is coming and will be discontinued on Wednesday, October 30th. And by the way, they're giving 2 months, almost to the day. I've seen other games go like 4 months. In fact, like Danmachi, didn't they do like 3, 4, or 5 months? Something like that. I don't know about 5, but yeah. Despite daily efforts to improve service quality since launch in 2022, we ultimately decided to discontinue the service after concluding that it would be difficult to continue providing a satisfying player experience. Basically, long story short, it doesn't make enough money to keep it going. It doesn't make enough money to keep paying the people that are at least working on the game, the server costs, all that stuff, all the fees that come with, like, it's not generating enough. That's why these games get shut down. Once again, we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to everyone who has supported the app over the years, along with our sincere apologies for this unfortunate outcome. End of sales, discontinuation of online services as well. About the upcoming schedule. So the offline version. Oh, this is actually interesting. There's a migration for the offline. That's actually really cool. Okay, so migration is something that I think is the next level to this. Because, like, for example, I'm pretty positive Mega Man didn't have this. And I'm sure there are other offline games. I just don't know of them, right? But that just speaks to how uncommon this is. Most of the time, these games just shut down. I don't know why they don't do more offlines. I genuinely don't. It's insane to me. You can put it on the App Store, charge $10. I mean, Mega Man charged like $30, right? But you can charge $10, put this on Steam, charge whatever you want to charge, and people will buy it. Why wouldn't you do that? Anyway, this is interesting because there's a period here where you can migrate, and I'd assume, based on what the word means, that means you could take your pre-existing account and just keep playing. And so really, you're not losing a ton if you were somebody that didn't care about the online features anyway. The only thing in that case that you're losing out on is new content releases. And so what they're doing here is they are going to speed run the rest of the story because they want the story available, which is great. That's fine, right? They're going to speed run the rest of the story, the Part 4 final episode release, the rest of Part 4. They're gonna speed run episodes, Part 3, the latter episodes, and then Part 4. In terms of events, they're gonna run. I can't really see that too great. Let's see if we can. A Len event. Oh, that's Len. I can't even see her. I was like, who the hell is that? They're gonna end the game on Len. Is she the last character? Is Len the last character? No, there's another event scout. But like Len is like basically the last character, I guess. Maybe not. I don't know. There's probably some stuff in there. But okay. They've also got a 2x SSR drop rate, which is actually low-key pretty good because if you play the game now a lot and get the stuff from that scout, and then keep going, you'll be good. So the tricky, and this is probably part of the reason why these games don't do this, the tricky thing with converting a gacha to an offline experience is you have to find a way to make every single character, every single other like weapon, in this case they have, you know, equipment, yeah, but they've got the cards. You got to find a way to make all that stuff permanently available in the game in a way that is available for the player to get enough dupes of that stuff to max out. Like, that's probably the main reason why, is it can get a little bit tricky with trying to figure that out, and that's certainly an excuse because where there's a will, there's a way. But I would say that that's one thing I'm looking at. But anyway, the Festival Scout 2x drop, if you went for that and then migrated your account, that'd be pretty good. Combo boost unlocked for all characters, all stories unlocked, quest completion conditions are removed. Sword Art Online Integral Factor link. As a thank you to everyone who played SAO VS, we're giving out a special gift in SAO IF. and you have until the 27th of November to claim that special gift. That's pretty cool. That's cool. That'd be like if Dokkan closed. I guess maybe it would probably be the other way around, right? It would be the other at this rate. I mean, shit. That'd be like if Legends closed and Dokkan was like, "Hey, we're giving everybody that played a special gift." The offline edition. Yeah, let's see what they have to say about that. Following the main events, we'll be launching a variety of in-app events and campaigns as a way of saying thanks for keeping the fun going until the end. Events late September, event scouts that utilize tickets are going to be in there as well. All right, let's see what they have to say about the offline edition itself. After service is discontinued, the following maintenance on 10/30 will offer an offline edition that preserves a portion of everyone's player data, making it possible to continue. Okay, so what is the portion? The offline edition of the app version 3.0 will be released at the same time as the online service concludes. You can migrate to the offline edition by updating to version 3.0. Oh, so it's the same app. It just, by doing an update, it automatically shoots you to the offline. Okay, well, that's even better. If there's not actually going to be a cost for the game, that's even better. After updating to the offline edition, launch the game to begin the migration process. Follow the instructions and download the required data. The deadline for transferring data to the offline edition will be 1/29/2026. After that time, it will no longer be possible to transfer your game data. Linking your account to a Bandai Namco ID allows the transfer. Here are some offline edition features. Okay. The main quest. All quests released after the period of extended maintenance ended on 12/17 will be unlocked. Okay. There will be no clear rewards on the story stages. Okay. All right, cool, whatever. I guess that's fine. Unlimited dungeon, a selection of floors from 50 floors to 500 floors in the unlimited dungeon will be available to play. Points for allotting on the growth board will also be set to the maximum amount from the beginning to allow you to enjoy it as you please. Oh, that's really dope. Let's see what else they have here. You'll be able to play all solo and multi-quests released up to this point. You will not be able to play online. There will be solo clear, but you can play that stuff, okay? Battle Royale will be there. You can play against CPU. Okay, so these are online features, but they're restricting it to offline, of course. The following stories released after the period of extended maintenance will be available to enjoy. The main story, side stories, and extra stories. Okay. All features of character interactions will be unlocked, allowing you to enjoy character unique stories and voices. Okay, so you don't have to fiddle with any of the slow progression stuff here either. You just get all of it. The scouts. A scout with all previous characters and ability cards will be created. Oh, they're putting everything in one. Will they let you have unlimited summons or something? This will allow you to enjoy the scout and SSR character cutscenes. You will not be able to actually obtain characters or ability cards from. It even says it. I was gonna say it's a simulator. It even says it. It's a simulator. That's just so you can see the cutscenes if you don't own the cards. That is a choice. That's a choice. The player names of all players who have logged in before 8/29 will be viewable as credits. I feel like I've seen that somewhere. I feel like I've seen that done somewhere. Was that on Memory Defrag? Shit, I feel like I've seen that exact thing before. Or maybe I'm having crazy deja vu. You'll be able to download, or you'll be able to freely change the title and background of your profile picture as before. All previous characters will be unlocked in the gallery. Oh, there it is. Okay, so you just automatically get everything. You just get everything, unless I'm misremembering. The gallery actually is not where your characters are, right? Is that just for changing your profile? I'd assume so, actually. So don't quote me on that. Closed feature. The following features will be closed and unavailable. The tutorial, login bonuses, the shop, purchases, enhancements of characters, ability cards, and armors. So are they just going to give you everything at max level? Because if you port your account over as is, then what the fuck? Like, what's the point? Missions, daily quests, multi-quests, all the currency-related stuff is gone. Expeditions, I don't know that. Okay. I guess if currency stuff is leaving, it makes sense for expeditions and Labyrinth to go as well. I was gonna say, I don't know if that needs to go, but I guess it makes sense. The app data after migrating to the offline will require 6 gigabytes of storage. The above content may be subject to change. Variant crystals that you currently own cannot be used in the offline edition. We cannot guarantee that the offline edition will be downloaded or supported indefinitely. We cannot guarantee the offline edition will work correctly in all cases and can provide support regarding it. Yeah, so they're putting this out there, and like you're on your own. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then whatever. They may update it a couple times, just generally, but like they're saying they're not going to provide support for this. So like if it works, great. Tie up with the Integral Factor app. You'll get the rewards as mentioned earlier. Okay, so they didn't really. So do you genuinely just keep what you have? Is that what's happening here? What if a new player wanted to get on the game and just downloaded the new? Can you not play without migrating? Like what is? Okay, so it's interesting. It's not exactly what I thought. But you saw what I was talking about, right? Where they had to strip out so much stuff because it's a gacha game. It's designed to function a certain way. And unless the gallery thing, that's just me misremembering. I haven't played it in a few months. Unless the gallery thing is where you go to look at your characters, or unless that's what that meant, I do struggle to see how you're going to even, like I said, like a new player, like how do you get in and do anything? But if you have everything auto unlocked at max level, that's interesting because this game is basically just a skill simulator. Like, how good are you? I guess, maybe. If everything's max level, that may not matter as much. But this game was actually more skill intensive than I think people realize. It's interesting. It's not at all what I thought. This is almost what this game really is. What this game really is. It's not even so much a game anymore. It's just a preservation of this game's story. That's mainly what they're accomplishing here. That's quite literally the main thing here. And the characters in it, all that stuff, the cutscenes, that's the whole reason there's a simulator scout. It's just so you can see the stuff in this game. You can live the story. You can see the character interactions. That's what this is trying to mainly preserve. Everything else is secondary. I mean, quite literally, a lot of the stuff is gone. But everything actual gameplay related itself is literally secondary. The rest of that stuff doesn't matter. So it's not exactly what I thought, right? It's not trying to be so much of a dedicated game as, like I was mentioning earlier, the Mega Man game is. This is entirely different. But nonetheless, this is not bad. It kind of, you know what? I think we got a glimpse into the future here. I don't know when it'll happen, but eventually, goddamn Dokkan will shut down. I'm not wanting it to shut down. I'm just saying, like, 10 years from now, shit. Eventually, right? We kind of get a glimpse into the future. And that could change if it's 10 years from now. Just the practices and all that stuff change. But Dokkan's about to get some crazy massive update, I'm hearing. That's going to, like, reinvigorate the game even more. So, like, it could be 20 years from now for all I know, man. But eventually, we're going to be 80 and that thing's going to be still printing money. But in all seriousness, I think that's going to become like a box viewer. I do. I think that game's going to become a box viewer with all content up to that point unlocked. They may even reset the stuff for you or give you the ability to reset it. I don't know. In terms of like the boss fights and stuff, they're going to remove all the Dragon Stones, all the currency. They would have to, I don't know what they would do in terms of like character acquisition for characters you didn't have. That's where it's tricky with all these gacha games. I don't know. But I think that game's going to be a glorified like binder. Like a binder. We have your physical cards in. That's what that is. Just download your app and you're good, right? Also, will the offline edition be able to link to a Bandai Namco ID just indefinitely? I'd assume so, right? Because like, what if you delete the offline app? I'd assume that you can always log into your account again because it should be stored on the Bandai Namco server. That's interesting. There's a lot to this, but, you know, they answered some stuff, but they didn't really answer everything. I still have more questions, but if you guys want to check out the video, like I said, check out Gamer Turk's video. It is ironic that I did a video on this, and this happened when literally today I did the exact opposite video on my other channel called Uma Musume is Destroying Everything. If you didn't know, Uma Musume over the last 2 months has accounted for 57% of global gacha game spending. Across all the games. 57% in 2 months of every game. Uma Musume has generated nearly $50 million in 2 months. If Sword Art Online generated $50 million in a year, I doubt it did. But hypothetically, the game wouldn't be closing down, right? So anyway, if you want to check that out, that'll also be something you can seek out. It's on the DFree Gaming channel. Let me know what you guys think. It's always bittersweet, but we saw it coming. It was extremely apparent. Frankly, it's sooner than I thought it was. Maybe. I don't know.